Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. I am just getting things set up on my other platforms before I switch over to a new platform that I'm using. So bear with me for just a few seconds. I was supposed to come on earlier, and y'all know how that goes. Stuff happens, and everything is a hot mess. So, everything is always extra, and I got everything, one thing going and another thing going, and so this is where I am. But give me just a second. Okay. Okay, so we're live on I have my Instagram and I have Facebook. No, I have YouTube. Hello everyone. Hello everyone. I have to remember to y'all. Um but today we're gonna be talking about anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about. That's what we're talking about. Okay. Um so hi guys, if you're on, if you popped on, just give a wave, a hi, whatever you want in the um, comment. So, and even if you're watching on the replay, wave hi, where you from? And why does it always take so long? Like I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I want this to be like a quick, simple thing, and it's always so extended. They have all this stuff going on, but it's just still not as streamlined as it should be, in my opinion. But whatever. I'm not even gonna get into that. That's like something else. Not even gonna get into it. So let me get it up on this one. All right. And okay. Put your zodiac sign in there. We didn't ask about no Scorpios. If you're watching. What I watch. Okay. Own thing, and they make too much money for their products to not be working. It's just it doesn't make any sense to me. So let me get going with what we're on, and then I'll put it on Facebook later. It is what it is. Okay. So Jupiter. Today is the day of Jupiter. A lot of people know Jupiter as the planet. Um, a lot of people know that, I mean, in the sense of just knowing what Jupiter is. A lot of people just know of Jupiter, the planet, right? Of course, we all do. Jupiter is not only just a planet in our solar system, but in astrology, Jupiter actually has other things that it corresponds to. And so that's what I want to talk about today. Jupiter as the planet, besides what you were just taught at school. Like, we want to get into Jupiter. I'm not going to go super deep because I'm not doing all that. But I do want to talk about how Jupiter works for you. And you may follow me. I'm not sure. I don't know. But I just like to put an emphasis on knowing your natal chart. Getting your natal chart. Okay? Finding the planets in your natal chart. I'm telling y'all, you're doing yourself an injustice. Even if you don't believe in astrology, you're doing yourself an injustice not to know the planets in your natal chart. It's real simple, okay? So that's where I want you guys to start at, is finding out what the planets are in your natal chart. and then go ahead and from there, um, then you can really start to get into the nitty gritty of everything. Okay. You have a couple of places. I'm actually gonna be uploading one onto my website in the future, the near future, but I just don't have one on there now. So of course they have all these other places that you can go to get a free natal chart. And astro.com is one. You have Astro Dentist. I believe those are two separate ones. You have Astro Cafe. Basically, you can just look up like natal chart, really, and from there you can find it. Okay, so if you just go onto any three of those sites, you'll be able to find it. Excuse me. Okay, any of those three sites, you'll be able to find it. And what you'll need. Give me just a second, y'all. Okay, because I'm just like, oh my goodness. Why do? There we go. Okay. It's so extra sometimes. I don't understand it. Okay. That's good. Perfect. Okay. So I got that together because, again, Facebook is the one that's like the worst to work with. And, um, oh, this is inviting people. Okay. No, we're good. When I'm trying to do stuff, hello on YouTube. Whoever is on, go ahead and put your zodiac sign. I forgot everything going now. So go ahead and put your zodiac sign if you know it, and put where you're from or where you're viewing from whichever you like. Okay, today's topic is Jupiter. We're talking about Jupiter. Forgive me for taking a minute to get on here. It's like Facebook always holding up the show, because that's just what they do. They're making all this money and you still can't get it together on their platform. I don't understand it. But anyways, so we're talking about Jupiter today. Beyond what you know about Jupiter, I'm not going to go into super details. I'm not doing all that. I might do that later in a video that I like fully put together. But this is just like a live thing that I wanted to come and do. So that's why I'm not going to go into like super details. But I just want you guys to, I want to give you a brief understanding on Jupiter and how it works in your chart. How Jupiter um, can assist you in your life if you understand where Jupiter is, the placements in your natal chart. And as I said before, your natal chart, I am going to have a, what am I trying to say? I'm going to have where you can get your natal chart on my website in the near future. I don't have it now. So in the meantime, where you can go to find your natal chart, there's three sites that I know off the top of my head. Astro.com. You can go on to astrodentist.com, and you also can go on to Astro Cafe. Okay. And these are mainly from Western astrology. Oh, Libra in Kentucky. Okay. All right. Hey, Kentucky. Libra. Okay. So, yes. So, you want to go to any of those three sites to get your natal chart. Same thing. Those are interchangeable. And what you'll need before you go on to any of these sites is you'll need, of course, so this may be hard for some people if you don't have your birth certificate, or maybe you're like a home, like the normal being delivered at a hospital. That may be difficult for some people. But to get the most accurate natal and birth chart reading, you want to have the birth time, okay? Because the planets were at different positions, even as the seconds and the minutes went by when your mom was in labor. Okay, so Leo from New Jersey. Okay, and Aquarius moon. Okay, I got Aquarius in my chart, but I also my youngest daughter is an Aquarius. Okay, so welcome guys. All right, so again, let's get ready to get into it. You can come back to the video if you don't already have your birth natal chart and you just want to kind of find out. Go do that. You can always come back. Okay, I'm gonna leave it up. All right, so talking about Jupiter again. Jupiter in the sign. So Jupiter, the planet of good fortune and luck. So it can also pertain to business. And I made a post on my personal page this morning. I went to sleep last night. I was thinking about, coming on and giving you guys some information about Jupiter. And so, of course, that energy was, floating around me. And so, and just thinking in a business mindset. And then I wake up this morning with $1 billion business idea. No joke. And I'm just like, dang. Like, okay, Jupiter, you're showing out. And today is the day for Jupiter. Thursday is the day for Jupiter. So if you like to set intentions and things like that, Thursday is a good day to set intentions for your business. If you have a business. Jupiter being another planet that can also assist with that. Thursday is a good day to set your intentions for. That's why we're talking about what planet your Jupiter is in. Okay, hey, go ahead. I already know you are and where you're from, but so with Jupiter. So I want to read off, like I said, after you guys get your natal charts, you can always come back and take a look at this so you can find. But I want to let you guys know for each sign Jupiter holds for you in your natal chart. Once you figure that out, okay? All right. Usually start with Aries, but you know what? I'm gonna go ahead. I don't have to do what everybody else does, do I? No, I don't. Okay, so give me a second. Let me get to it. All right, and at the end of this, if you guys actually learned some stuff and it was helpful to you, don't be stingy. Share with your friends. Share with people so they can know. Okay. All right, because we're gonna dive into this Jupiter. We want y'all to know about Jupiter. And the color that represents Jupiter is yellow. So I thought I'd be a little fancy. Which I think. Yeah, big tech. Aries. All right. Ain't nothing wrong with Aries. You know what I found? I have a lot of Aries energy. I have a lot of Aries placement in my chart. I was like, okay. So I'm not all sweet all the time. I'm telling you, you will learn a lot about yourself once you dive into your chart. You'll learn some things because sometimes some stuff doesn't make sense, if you're just basing it on your main zodiac sign. But once you get into your chart, then you start looking at other stuff and you're like, oh, that's why I'm that way. You didn't know. That's why you got to get into it. All right. So Jupiter and Sag. All right. Okay. So I'm a little biased because my Jupiter is in Sag and that has me a little crunk sometimes. But Jupiter and Sagittarius, that's the I like loaded my cards before I came. I was like, woo, let me get Jupiter and Sag for 500, Alex. So I did Jupiter and Sag. And then, of course, your other placements and things. But I was like, I'm going to make it happen while I'm here this time around. So that's what I did because I'm not playing around. Okay. That's probably why I had that dream about that $1 billion business. Okay. So let me just read off a little excerpt about Jupiter and Sag. Let you guys know. Okay, so the natural house that Jupiter and Sag rules is, Jupiter and Sag is, of course, it's the 9th house. And then for Jupiter and Sagittarius, this is going to be the significance for that is this is where you attract your abundance and luck. So Jupiter is really about luck and good fortune. That planet, period, is about your luck and your good fortune for the most part. Okay, so Sagittarius, Jupiter and Sag, where you can attract abundance and luck, where you're least cautious, where you want to gain knowledge, and where you can benefit most from it. Okay, that is Jupiter and Sag. Okay, So I'm going to give y'all a quick rundown of each zodiac sign because I don't want y'all here all day, and I'm waiting for my sandwich to come. So I'm a little hungry. So we're gonna keep it rolling. But the rules for Jupiter and Sag are: you got legal matters, your luck, higher education. So if you have a Jupiter and Sag, you love to like continually learn, always learning things. I'm always wanting to learn something, so that makes sense. Religion, spirituality, and universities, place of worship, all that stuff. Anything dealing with spiritual. Okay. All right. So next we have Jupiter in Aries. So if you have your Jupiter in Aries, this is going to be for you guys. And your Jupiter in Aries is that you're outgoing, you are adventuresome, free spirit, enthusiastic, you always have good cheer, you like a good challenge, and you might intimidate others. And that makes sense because Aries is the kind of forceful, not really like trying to be forceful, but people can be naturally intimidated by an Aries sometimes. So I understand that. Okay. And then you're also less objective in your thinking. So that's a thing about being an Aries sometimes. Sometimes you kind of just go with the flow. You got to kind of scale it back a little bit. And of course, this is just one time though. So, and you have to think about more stuff. Big facts, right, Sean? I know how y'all Aries operate. Okay. So, Jupiter in Taurus. All right. Taurus is an earth sign. Aries is a fire sign. Sagittarius is also a fire sign. So you also have to think about those signs either being fixed, mutable, all those different things. Okay, too. So, because if it's a fixed sign, then they're like, it's pretty much like they're stuck in their ways. If it's a mutable sign, they can, kind of go with the flow and different things like that too. All right. So in Taurus, if you have your Jupiter in Taurus, it is financially lucky. Okay. Because Taurus already has to deal with money. That's a sign of money. Like people who have Taurus in their chart, Taurus moon, have heavy Taurus energy. They are like money magnets, literally. So you just got to make it work for you. So, okay, Taurus, financially lucky. Plus, you have the common sense to successfully manage your money. Okay, not just you getting it, but you know how to manage it too. So that's why I think it makes Taurus such a good sign for it to be in, because you can kind of multiply that thing if you know how to manage your money correct, right? And then people with your Jupiter and your Taurus also amass considerable assets. Okay, so that means you're not just liabilities, you got some stuff rolling in. That's what I said. And then higher education, then that makes all the odds be in your favor. So that's why Taurus, if they know how to twerk their signs, they can be very successful in businesses and money and all that good stuff. They just got to know when to use it. All right, so then we're going to move over to Gemini. Okay. And I know y'all give Gemini the hard time. I'm not Gemini, but Gemini say, okay, they just got to learn how to work with themselves. Their communication is always jumbled usually. So it's all right. So anyways, Gemini, when you have a Jupiter in Gemini, you're fun-loving, talkative. And I say that they be talking. And your curiosity fuels your perpetual quest for information. So you know a lot about many things, but tend to scatter your mental energies rather than limit your focus to a specific area of expertise. And that's what I hear a lot of people talk about when they talk to Geminis or no Geminis. It's like they have all this stuff going on in their head, but when it comes out, it doesn't hit. It's like, that missile didn't get you. So just know that they got some stuff intelligently going on in their heads, but when it gets to you, you might not. That might not feel like that's what's going on. Okay. And but they're very intelligent and they have a versatile mind. So their weaknesses are the strength in striving for excellence in a single area. So they have to focus more on single areas instead of kind of being all over the place. And that's a byproduct of what's going on in the brain. All right, so we're going to move on to Jupiter in Cancer. Okay. Jupiter in Cancer, family ties. And Cancer has to deal with the family. The sign of Cancer has to deal with family, siblings, all that good stuff. So that makes sense. Cancer is generally positive and supportive, and cherish fond memories of special moments, close friends, loved ones. Okay, so your home life is the big thing to be considerate of when you have, hey, tweet, have your Jupiter in Cancer. And so for me, this would make me think if it's in Cancer, then that means that you would probably be profitable with doing things that include your family or include your spouse or your children or something like that. So you have to look into that. And again, you can find out all this stuff again if you go look up your natal chart if you don't already have it. And you can just rewind it and go find out where you get your natal chart, but you need that. Okay. So also, many people with the Jupiter and Cancer adopt family beliefs as their own, never waver from them, partly out of loyalty, sympathetic in their kind. That's true for most Cancers. And they are among the first to give those in need as well as those love. So a lot of people who are born into the sign of Cancer are healers as well. I know a lot of Cancers that are healers, and it's in any sense of healing. It can be the body, it can be the mind, it can be anything. So that might be a good avenue for anybody who has their Jupiter in Cancer to look into as far as business. Something dealing with healing, anything like that. That might be a good avenue for you to look into. Okay, Jupiter in Leo. Okay, we know about them Leos. I'm not going to say nothing bad about Leos because I like Leos. They're very direct and firm and forthcoming. So a lot of people think they're just about vanity, but they're not always. So, okay, so Jupiter in Leo, you love being in the limelight and doing things on a grand scale. That makes sense because Leos are about, look, you're gonna see me. That's why you think that the sign is a lion. The lion is like, oh, okay, look at this man, don't play. Okay, I'm gonna send my girls out first, but if you want to run up, then you can run up. That's what the lion did. Okay, and you don't want to mess with him, right? But they love being in the limelight and doing things on a grand scale. They're generous and loving. They're admired, and they can be prone to inflated ego. I can't agree with that. Okay, for some Leos, I can, but they are creative, loyal. They have leadership and strength. So, as far as businesses go, when you have the Leo, yes, close it. And so Leo, since you're natural born leaders, that may be your place in a business. You may need to be a leader. The leader, I can hear that. Close it. And so like if you're going into a partnership, you might be the one that's a bit more level-headed. Depends on who you're going into a partnership with. So that's another point I want to bring up right quick. Your natal chart and your birth chart is not only for you. If you learn more about like who you're going to go into business with and things like that, and you know about their sign, of course they might not give you all the information, but if you know about their main sign, you can kind of know how to maneuver with them if they're going to be a good partner, if you guys will fit, all that good stuff. Okay. So anyways, back to Leo. Very optimistic, and they have the ability to energize and motivate others. So that's another reason why they would be good at being a leader. In a business, in life, all that good stuff, because they have those natural qualities. Okay, and if you're among them, you devote as much time as possible to your interests and activities. You have a taste for luxury, and designer labels can become an expensive indulgence. So just look out for that, okay? Especially in your business. Like, don't overdo it. If you're a Leo, be practical on some scales, because I know you like to be seen and you like to go all out. I mean, I understand on the events and the things that you might do, like grand opening and stuff like that, but don't do it all the time, because you never have no money in your pocket if you're trying to be the baller of the town all the time. I mean, unless you're just a billionaire, you know how to move it like that, then you do what you do. I'm just saying. Okay, so let's move on over to Jupiter in Virgo. If you have your Jupiter in Virgo, Work can become the driving force in your life, even to the point of consuming almost all of your waking hours. I'm sorry. Satisfaction and rewards fuel your desire for more, but you can also overextend yourself. And that's usually true about Virgos. They are very much perfectionists. They like to have everything together. So they really bog their brains down about do I have all my ducks in a row? Do I have everything in line? Like they will stay up for hours and not get sleep and all this kind of stuff to make sure they have stuff, in the line. So you got to learn how to stay out of your head so much and not, because when you're trying to be a perfectionist all the time, that can stop you from getting stuff done. Okay, so that's why they have, tasks that you can delegate to other people. Okay, I see that you have the vision, usually Virgos, but learn how to get your time and let other people help you out. That's what you guys need to know the most. So also with Jupiter and Virgo, the result sooner or later will be your burnout. So again, like I said, you need to make sure that you are sharing those duties with other people to help you out. But at times you can get stuck in analysis and very overcritical again. And people with Jupiter and Virgo are actively involved in charitable organizations and other good causes. Okay. And Virgo that most people know, I'm not sure if her Jupiter is in Virgo, but Beyonce is a Virgo. So you can see why she is as successful as she is in many of her business endeavors because as I've read, which I haven't been there myself, but as I've read, no, you can't. Uh, as I've read, she is like when it comes to her shows and all that stuff, she's very hands on, and so but it shows in her business success. So she may actually have her Virgo, I mean her Jupiter also in Virgo, and with her being a Virgo, okay. So we got a few more. So Jupiter and Libra. If you have your Jupiter in Libra, very friendly, helpful, enthusiastic. You encourage and inspire others to excel. In turn, they bring you luck. Okay, in Libra, you can benefit financially through a business or romantic partner. Relying on others can become a pattern, however, which is something that a lot of Libras need to focus on, not being codependent. Okay, a pattern, and when independence would best serve your interests, you may waver from that. Okay, so just be mindful of that. And then you are astute observer of human nature, and people value your advice. And I have a Libra moon, so that makes sense. A lot of people come to me for advice all the time, like all the time, and I'd be like, "Oh, okay, I must be onto something." I don't know. Maybe I give good advice. I guess I don't know. I'm assuming they do because they come back. Okay, and so um, although you steer clear of conflict, you will take a stand to ensure justice and fairness. So that is the main thing about Libra period, the sign. You are firm. The Libra is the scale, so you also always like to have everything being fair to everybody. And I feel that way in my life since I have a Libra moon. I'm always trying to be fair for everybody, where I can be. But so in business, if you have Libra and Jupiter, that means you might be good in a mediator position. You may be good in being the one in the boardroom and the board projects who can help to make the final decision because you weigh all the options. You want to make sure that the scales are even. So that may be a good position for you in any business endeavors. Being in a mediation position, being like the tiebreaker, being the one who can sit there and have a non-biased view of everything that's being brought to the table. So that can be your position in a business partnership, things like that. Okay. And then so we're gonna move on over to Jupiter and Scorpio. Jupiter and Scorpio. Okay. So Jupiter and Scorpio. You delve deep into subject that any subject that interests you, researching every facet until you've mastered the knowledge or acquired enough to suit your needs. However, you can overdo it and develop an intense emotional involvement that limits perspective. Step back periodically for a fresh look. At times, you can be secretive and suspicious of others' motives. Okay, so let me just touch on that really quickly for Scorpios, but also your Jupiter and Scorpios. So, researching every facet until you've mastered it. Okay, um, that can be a good thing because you can be the researcher in your business, in businesses, in your partnerships with business, whatever. You have the, what do I want to say, the endurance to sit there and read 500 pages of a subject, okay, until you absolutely understand it completely. So that can be your part and where you come in. um, if you were doing a business, you're on your own or in a partnership, you could be the one who researches it to make sure you guys have everything, your ducks in a row, everything in a row. So that can be um, your input or your part in a business. Also, I want to touch on the part where it says secretive and suspicious. Very true for most Scorpios. Um, so I would just say that um, just being open in business. But if it's your own business, then you just have you yourself that you're really answering to. But if you're in a partnership in a business, be more open with the person that you're partnering with, so they don't think that you're like trying to hide anything from them or trying to go off and do something behind their back. Something crazy like they think you're trying to take the company and run and have it yourself or embezzling money or things like that. I'm just saying this is how it can come off to somebody else that isn't that doesn't have that sign in their Jupiter or things like that. Okay. So okay. So if you have your Jupiter, look out for those things. Okay. And then an asset is that you positively protect your interests. So that's a good thing because you're going to make sure that nobody's messing with what you have going on, right? And so Scorpios are very protective of whatever their business, people around them, family, all that good stuff. If they really are with you and down with you and mess with you, they really mess with you. Like, one of the best people to have on your team is a Scorpio. They don't play. You know what I'm saying? So definitely in a business partnership, they can be a very great asset. You can be a very great asset to somebody else if you have your Jupiter and Scorpio. Okay. And another thing for Scorpios that have a Jupiter, many people with Jupiter and Scorpios amass sizable assets through hard work and determination. They are very determined and they will work hard if it's something that they are genuinely focused on. Okay, so on to Jupiter and Sag. I think I started Jupiter and Sagittarius. Oh, I'm sorry. I was so crunk about Jupiter and Sagittarius that I was just going on. At the beginning, that's the ruler of Jupiter is Sagittarius. Okay. The sign rules Sagittarius. Okay. So let me really get into Jupiter and Sag now. Okay. And Jupiter and Sagittarius people are upbeat and enthusiastic. They also have a deep thinker and use philosophy or philosophical discussions and mental journeys as much as travel. So it's very true. My Jupiter is in Sag. I love to travel. I'm always thinking deeper. And when I have conversations with people, some people are like, okay, okay, girl, now you're too much into it. And I just be like, but you didn't think about that? And they be like, no, I didn't. But okay. But you brought it up. And then sometimes we actually might have a conversation about it. But anyways, okay, so people, Jupiter and Sag, deep thinkers. On a lifetime quest for knowledge makes you a perpetual learner. That's true. I always want to learn something. Like it doesn't even matter. Like if I find out something new and I want to know about it, I'm always wanting to learn something. It's very true. Both in and out of the classroom, willing to share all you know to help others. Yes. And once I learned, I'm like, I need to tell the world, like these people need to know this stuff. Like, what is that? That's why I'm on here now talking to y'all. See? So willing to help others and let them learn. Very generous with their time, talent, and you expect nothing in return for your favors granted. I am so much like that. I don't expect, like, if I'm going to help you, I'm going to help you. I don't expect anything back because it's from the heart, and I already know that it's going to come back to me. So that's very true for Jupiter and Sag. Also, things to look out for: be careful of tendencies to put too much faith in others and their promises. That makes sense. Very trusting of others. Um, so we have to balance optimism with reality. Okay. All right. You're lucky more often than not, which is true. I think about that all the time. I'm like, dang, I've been lucky in life. Like, I didn't even think about it. Something that I took for granted for a moment, not anymore. But I realized a lot of things people would consider me lucky. So I'm very thankful for that. And lucky more than not, and calculated risk can pay off handsomely for you. So yes, just making sure that I have to make sure that I calculate what I have going on. So that's very true. All right, we're gonna move on to Jupiter and Capricorn, and then we have Aquarius and Pisces. All right, so in Cap, you have an innate understanding of principles of expansion and contraction. Okay, and a talent for practical vision. So the visionaries, but people who actually, like, whatever the vision is on a practical scale, not just like some of us Pisces. I'm sorry, I'm a Pisces, y'all. Don't get mad at me, but we be like daydreaming everywhere, and sometimes we need to bring it back together. So with Jupiter and Capricorn, if you're a Cap, your vision is usually very practical, like to the point. Okay, so that makes sense. Opportunities come to you, and others are of your own making. Yes, so Capricorns in business, like, they usually like make stuff happen. They're the movers and the shakers of the zodiac. And so if you have, of course, in Jupiter and you're doing business, moving and shaking, you're making things happen. So that makes sense. You're somewhat cautious, but also quick to follow through on anything with real potential to advance your career and status. Cece. Ambitious and successful and money motivated. Okay. You have the common sense to know that advancement is a step-by-step process that requires goals, planning, timing, along with strong work ethic. So you line it up. You make sure, like I said, practically. You make sure you from get to A to Z. Okay, I need to do all this. Capricorns be having it on point. That them and Virgos, they like to make sure they. So yes, that makes sense. Okay, and then also, most people with Cap and Sagittarius are conservative and traditional. You like to keep it on how things have been going. You may not step out of the box too much. You might, you kind of those, if it's not broke, don't fix it kind of people, which is nothing wrong with it. Because if it's not broken, if it's working for you, then why are you fixing it? Okay, so that makes sense. And many thrive in corporate life. So if you have a Cap in Jupiter, as far as your business, a career, your corporate life, that's where you may need to focus at, and or your own corporation. Okay. All right. Now we're gonna move on to Jupiter in Aquarius. Okay. Now Jupiter in Aquarius. Ooh, my youngest is an Aquarius. I know about those Aquarius. I love them though. All right, Jupiter in Aquarius. You're tolerant yet unpredictable and stubborn. I had to laugh for a second. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, my child is so stubborn. That's at times though. With a life philosophy that's uniquely yours. Absolutely. Just about every Aquarius that I've met are what you would consider eccentric, but I don't mean it in a bad way. Like, they really don't care. They don't give no flips about anything. Like, they're like, okay, and this is how I am, and if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Like, take it and leave it. So I love Aquarius energy in that sense, that they just like, okay, I just said. High on the list is injustice. So also, to go with that, Aquarius are the humanitarians of the zodiac sign. So usually, if you know an Aquarius, they care about everybody. They even are like the ones who care about the cats and the dogs and how people are being treated in other areas and other countries and things like that. So even though you Aquarius are very unique, they are very loving and kind, and they care about everybody too. Okay, so so they care about injustice. You see equality as the acceptable norm. Like I said, like everybody, y'all gonna be fair to everybody, or they're gonna be, or that's gonna be upsetting to an Aquarius, okay? And then I said this was gonna be quick, y'all, but I'm getting into it. I'm sorry. And so they also value people. Okay, so if you have an Aquarius and they're with you and they're down with you, they actually value you. It's not like a little show or whatever. They actually value people, and they have many friends, which is very true. And because a lot of people just like to be around that energy that they have, and from individuality, and they accept it as they are. Like I said before, people accept Aquarius as they are because they're good people. Like they really have a good heart. So whatever uniqueness they got going on, you're like, okay, I like to wear different color socks. So you like to wear black all day or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. So that's people in Aquarius, Jupiter in Aquarius. I'm sorry. And then even if they don't necessarily agree with you, somebody who has Jupiter in Aquarius, and just Aquarius in general too, with your decision and your choices, they still want to be fair to you. Like they feel like that you have a voice too. Like everybody has a voice, so let's not act like I'm just the only one. Okay. And then now we're to the last sign, Jupiter in Pisces. All right. And Jupiter and Pisces are known for compassion and generosity. This is very true. I'm a Pisces sun, so I know that. Helping others gives you great satisfaction. That's true. And people appreciate your kind and understanding nature. But these fine qualities encourage less ethical people to take advantage of you. If that's not the story of my life being a Pisces, oh my goodness. And it took me a while to figure that out. I mean, it is what it is, you know. Sometimes it just takes us a little bit longer, but yes, people will take advantage of you when they see usually Pisces, when they see how kind you are. And it's because we're just kind like that, and we keep giving people chances, and they're like, oh, okay. Let me try you again. They're gonna do it. So you're gonna have to learn those people. Be wise and good to yourself. Weigh each request on its merits. Exactly what I just said and what I've learned. Now, I'm still that kind of compassionate person, but if you've done some crazy stuff, don't think you're going to keep doing some crazy stuff because I'm watching you. I'm going to continue to watch you. And if you keep doing some foolishness, okay, then that's when we're into it. Okay. Now, do your best to remove emotions from the equation because we can be very emotional. That is a water sign, so it's based on emotion. All right, we're just getting into it. Y'all already knew some of this stuff. Not everyone is deserving of your sympathy. That's what we just talked about, right? Okay. So temper your idealism with reality. And so basically this is what they're saying is we always like to see the best in people. The most good. It can be the not necessarily, I don't know if you can have the shittiest person on earth, but it can be one of the worst people on earth and we'll still see the good in them. So you just have to be mindful of that. You have an excellent imagination and are creative in so many ways. Yes. So as far as Jupiter and Pisces, when it's dealing with business, you are one of the creative people. Like your business sense, you might want to looking into creative endeavors, having your business designed around your creativity. And Pisces, usually we have like natural talents that we don't even know about. We find something and we're just like, and we can do it right off the bat. We don't have to necessarily go to school for it or anything. It's just like a natural thing. So, but we are very creative. So if you have your Pisces in Jupiter as well, then you might be a painter. You might love to paint, or you might like to create something. You might be a DIY person and turning stuff into new stuff or turning stuff into old stuff. You might be one of those type of people. You might be, a home decorator, whatever, anything with creative arts. That's probably what you want to look into. Okay. And then, Many people with this placement are also very intuitive and psychic. And when they say psychic, it's true. But on a practical level, like psychic, like we might feel something or sense something and it actually like happens, or like you knew something and it was actually like came out to be true, like that kind of like psychic thing, not like a spooky, I'm trying to scare people psychic, which is nothing wrong with that. But I'm just saying, as far as in business, like you may get a sense of which way to go with your business. How should I maneuver? What should I do? You kind of get like an intuitive feel when it comes to that area. So you probably are guided often in business decisions, in the next business decision to make. If you're watching this replay, if anybody's still watching, go ahead and put your sign and where you're from. We are going over the planet Jupiter today. Okay. And then also Jupiter in Pisces. You have an excellent imagination and guard yourself against self-indulgence in any form. So, because we have Pisces have the, what do I want to say? What is the word? We usually like to escape reality. So, is that's just pretty much letting you guys know to not try to self-indulge in things that are taking you out of reality. Like when business gets hard and gets hard, you're like, oh, I just want to go eat some ice cream and then watch a show on Netflix. No, get back to it. We like to jump out of reality and stay there for a little bit. You got to learn how to get back to it. Okay. So that is all of the ones for Jupiter. Jupiter in each planet. Of course, today is Thursday. It's the day for Jupiter. So if you have your business, have a business idea, have a business anything, you want to utilize that energy on Thursdays. Okay. And then also, if you were born on a Thursday, you might be somebody's business ideas. Okay. Because Thursday is Jupiter's day. Another planet that also deals with business is Mercury, and that was yesterday. Yesterday was the day for Mercury, so I'm not really going to talk about it today. I just wanted to point that out, that that's also another planet that you can look into for business endeavors, Mercury, because Mercury deals with communication and thinking as well. Okay. So, you put those two together, you can really make some things pop if you know how to work with all of that energy, all the different energy that you have for all those things. Okay. So, that was that on Jupiter, y'all. It's a great planet. And I hope you learned something. If you did learn something, please leave a comment. Let me know what you learned. Share this with your friends. Everybody's trying to become entrepreneurs, and that's the main reason that I did this one today too, because I know it's a lot of people who are wanting to get out of their norm. They want to become entrepreneurs, so it's also good to know about where your placements are when you're wanting to start a new business. If you have a business already, you want to expand. Knowing yourself helps you know how you operate in the business. That's the battle, right? Half. See. You got to know first, and then you can go forth with what you're trying to do. So that's that on Jupiter. The last little tidbit that I have for you guys about Jupiter, I want to read one little excerpt. And again, chart again. Like I said, I'm going to have a chart on my website, but it's not there. So you can go into astro.com, Astro Dentist, and you can also go on to Astro Cafe and find that. Make sure that you have your birth time along with date of birth and where you were born at, city and state, to get the most accurate results. Okay. So I'm just going to end this off to let you guys know from an astrological standpoint, Jupiter and what it's about. So Jupiter, astrologically, is the planet of luck, fortune, success, and generosity, a kind and abundant force for good in the universe. Jupiter is expansive and Jupiter expansive and big thinking, healthy, wealthy, and powerful, an engine of achievement and success. Okay, so that's why we're talking about Jupiter in its relation to business, because success, wealth, powerful, expansion, those are all business terms. Those all get thrown around when you're doing a business. Okay, guys, so I hope you learned something. Like I said, make sure that you give me some hearts, some likes, some whatever you got going on which platform you're watching it on. And I'll be back with some more stuff as we go through the days. I want to touch on what every day signifies and which planet operates on that day to give you guys the best out of what you have going on. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with me. I know we're like going into an hour, but it is what it is. When you got good info, you got to be there. Okay. So thank you guys, and I will see you next time. Bye bye. Okay.
Nah, you heard me.
I'm still live.
Oh,
thank
live?
you.
You still heard me say the food rate. You told the people at the beginning of that thing, I'm waiting on my sandwich. Why you lying, bro? And did you ain't much didn't send me your phone number, though?
You're not a real person.
I am. Sweet exclusive is a real person.